Hey guys, mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, bringing you guys another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In this video, we have Reworks Part 10, so I did say on my last video, focusing on the second batch of level 70 awakenings, that I was going to make a separate video talking about the 3 characters getting their reworks, and this is the video right over here. Now before we start on and discussing what exactly these characters get for their reworks, I do want to mention that this is another indirect collaboration with a Tonberry troupe, specifically with Inkwelder and Dreamy, so you guys will be seeing those beautiful infographics that they create in correspondence to these character reworks or what these characters do. So thank you again. Be sure to check out the links down below in the video description as well as the pinned comments to all of their stuff. They're an amazing group of folks, very knowledgeable players and very talented too. I love the infographics. They look really, really cool. So the reworks that we're going to be getting on top of the Awakening Batch 2 for level 70 is going to be for Yuna, Terra, and Ramza. And we're going to start things off with Yuna's rework. So Yuna's rework is going to be improving both her Crystal Passes level 54 and 58. Her 54 used to be called Brave Danger Base Up, but with the rework, it's going to be changed to Buff Base and Attack Up. It used to give her a 10% initial Brave increase when her Brave is lower than her initial Brave value. However, with the rework, it's now just going to give her a 10% initial Brave and a 40% attack increase while she is buffed. At 58, her Buff Boost is going to be changing to Buff Boost and Speed Up. It used to just give a 50% max Brave increase while buffed. However, with the rework, it is now also a 50% max Brave and speed increase while she is buffed. And then the last thing that she gets with her rework is going to be a little bit of an improvement to her level 60 passive for her Cheer Extend. So now the party Brave heal that she provides to the party is going to be having its potency increased based on 70% of attack this time, and then any buffs that you gain from using Cheer are extended to a total of 8 turns. What can I say about Yuna's rework? Honestly, her rework is the one that puzzles me the most because it feels more like a minor rework. Unlike some other characters who we've seen, they get both of their abilities reworked, they get both of their passes reworked, or they get some really cool functionality and things like that. Yuna didn't get much, and to be honest, if you're going to be investing in Yuna, if you're going to be building her up, with this rework, first of all, you're gonna want her EX weapon, because the one thing about Yuna is she is not turn efficient because she functions strictly as support. However, if you have that EX weapon, it'll make her more turn efficient, so then that way she can actually have options to be able to deal damage to the enemies. And then also remember, Yuna is one of those 6 characters who got those cursed artifacts, so I would highly recommend too that you would farm for those cursed artifacts for Yuna if you're going to be building her up, because even though she did get this small rework, it's not that much of an upgrade, to be honest. It's more of like a quality of life functionality for her. And if you guys are wondering which cursed artifacts those are, I'll be leaving a link to in the video description as well as the pinned comments to a video that I made a few months back regarding those cursed artifacts. So that is going to be my thoughts and opinions about Yuna's rework. The next rework we're going to be taking a look at is going to be Terra's rework. So we're going to start things off by talking about a new special buff icon that Terra gets with her rework called Magda. Now this is going to be pretty much similar to like Alice's black mana gauge, her white mana gauge, or like Shantoto's rage gauge that she has now, and also similar to like Thancred's Ninki. So it's going to be an icon that actually appears above her head. So you could gain this Magda icon by using either Meltdown Plus, Meteor Plus, Set Magda Boost, Brave Attack Plus, and HP Attack Plus. It is stackable up to 9 stacks. At 5 stacks or more, it changes her abilities to Magda Meltdown Plus and Magda Meteor Plus. And then at 1 stack or higher, it changes her Brave Attack and HP Attack to their plus variants, and also grants her a Brave regen based on 40% of initial Brave. Now the next thing that she gets with her rework is going to be upgrades to her 54 and 58 passives. Her 54 passive was called Brave Danger Speed Up. It's going to be changed to Buff Attack and Speed Up. It used to only give a 10% speed increase when her Brave is lower than her initial Brave value. However, now with the rework, it's going to be giving her an 80% attack and 10% speed increase as long as she's buffed. And then at 58, Brave Base Up is changed to Buff Base and Boost Up. It used to only give a 10% initial Brave increase when starting the final stage with max HP. However, now it's going to be giving her a 10% initial Brave and 40% max Brave increase as long as she is buffed. The next things we're going to take a look at are going to be her Brave Attack Plus and her HP Attack Plus. So both of these do require 1 or more stacks of Magatech to have access. Brave Attack Plus is going to be a 2-hit non-elemental magic single target Brave Attack that grants 3 stacks of Magatech with a 160% Brave damage potency. And then finally, her HP Attack Plus is going to be a 1-hit non-elemental magic single target Brave plus single target HP attack, also granting 3 stacks of Magatech with an overflow of up to 120% of max Brave and a 50% Brave damage potency. Now her abilities also do get an upgrade, so her Meltdown Extend at Crystal Passive level 55 is going to be giving her an additional usage now to that ability, and on top of everything else that it already does, because it does have some debuffs attached to this ability, it is now, after the Brave heals, going to be dealing a 1-hit non-elemental magic single target Brave plus single target HP attack for Meltdown Plus. It's going to have a 150% Brave damage potency and as well as an overflow up to 120% of max Brave. And then once you have 5 stacks or more of Magatech, it's going to be changing Meltdown Plus to Magatech Meltdown Plus. And Magatech Meltdown Plus, after the Brave heals, deals a 2-hit non-elemental magic single target Brave plus single target HP attack with a 250% Brave damage potency and an overflow of up to 120% of max Brave. It'll also be dealing 50% HP splash damage to other targets and also consumes 4 stacks of Magatech and does not grant any stacks of Magatech. And then finally, her at level 60, her Crystal Passive level 60, her Meteor Extend is also going to be getting an upgrade, giving her an additional skill usage. Meteor Plus is still going to be that 15-hit non-elemental magic single target Brave plus single target HP attack. However, now it hits at a 270% Brave damage potency and also has an overflow up to 120% of max Brave, granting her 5 stacks of Magatech, which will then change her Meteor Plus to Magatech Meteor Plus. Magatech Meteor Plus is going to be a 15-hit non-elemental magic AoE Brave plus single target HP attack with a 330% Brave damage potency. However, if there's only one target, it's going to be dealing 1.6 times more Brave damage to that target. Brave can overflow with this ability up to 180% of max Brave, and just like Magatech Meltdown Plus, it will be consuming 4 stacks of Magatech after you use this ability, and it does not grant any stacks of Magatech. So Terra did get a really good rework. Okay, I like that. I like how she got a new special buff, that new Magatech buff. I do like how her abilities get significantly stronger with those. She can now hit AoE. She now has overflow. She also, don't forget, has that third ability that she gets with her level 70 awakening, and that's going to be one of the Bloomstone passives that I did mention in my previous video. That's going to be very important for Terra because it allows her to give herself 5 stacks right away of Magatech, of the Magatech icon versus just 3 if you have it fully upgraded. So that's going to be very important to have. However, with that being said, one of the things that I still don't like about the rework is the fact that you need to take time to build up to those 5 or more stacks. Well, it's not that hard. It's essentially Terra is building up to her potential, and then afterwards she resets herself, and then she builds herself back up again, and then she resets herself. So generally, any kind of character where in order to unlock a better version of their ability requiring a specific number of stacks, I feel like they're not as efficient as characters who could just outright deal that kind of damage by just clicking a button and just using their ability right away. But overall, Terra did get a very good rework, and she is going to be a pretty good, solid choice for a magic damage dealing unit. Now, with this rework, I feel like her EX weapon, having it, is 50-50. It gives her a max Brave up from using that ability Riot Blade, which is nice, and it helps her out. It helps you take advantage of her overflow so she could deal more HP damage. I don't feel like it's an absolute necessity, especially we all know that Terra's EX ability currently right now in Global is probably one of the most lackluster EX abilities. I mean, it does more damage if her HP is lower, but why would you ever want Terra to be in that situation in the first place? So I feel like her EX weapon is more of a quality of life. If you have it, hey, it gives her more longevity. It gives her a buff to her max Brave, which is always nice. But personally, I don't feel like it's a necessity to have right away. It will be more necessary when it actually gets its EX Plus upgrade. So that's going to be my thoughts about Terra's rework. And the last rework we're going to talk about is going to be Ramza. He's definitely the best of the 3 as far as the 3 reworks that we're going to be getting. So Ramza, first of all, gets an upgrade to his framed buff called Shout. So Shout now, first of all, it's still only applicable to Ramza when he uses Shout, but this time it is stackable now, up to 3 stacks. It has an 8-turn duration. It grants a 60% attack, 40% max brave, and 30% speed increase to Ramza. However, those potencies will remain the same regardless of where the stack amount is at. And then it changes his HP attack to either its plus, plus plus, or plus 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 variant based on the number of stacks. And then he gets a new framed buff called Galvanized, which comes from his ability Galvanize. So you use Galvanize, it applies to the entire party. It is now also stackable up to 3 stacks with a 9-turn duration. What it does is it gives the party a 20% attack and 60% max brave increase to the party. The potencies, again, will remain the same regardless of the stack amount. It changes his brave attack to its plus, plus plus, or plus 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 variants dependent on the number of stacks. And then when you have Galvanize at 3 stacks, it actually will be extending the duration of all the buffs that is given by Galvanize by 3 turns, including the Galvanize framed buff. Now we're going to be taking a look at his 54 and 58 passives because they do get an upgrade with this rework. So start speed up coming from his 54 passive is going to be changed to buff boost and speed. Before, it would just give Ramza a 20% speed increase for 3 turns at the start of each round. However, now with the rework, it is going to be giving him a 20% max brave and speed increase while he is buffed. And then at 58, his buff base up is now buff base all. So it would be giving him a 40% initial brave increase while he's buffed, but now that 40% initial brave increase is applied to the entire party while he is buffed. The next things we're going to take a look at are going to be those base commands because he has plus, plus plus, and plus 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 for both his brave attack and HP attacks. So Brave Attack Plus needs 1 stack of Galvanize, 1 hit melee single target Brave Attack. It also heals the party by 40% of Ramza's own attack stat with a 100% Brave damage potency. The Plus Plus variant requires 2 stacks of Galvanize. It is a 1 hit non-elemental melee single target Brave Attack, this time healing the party's Brave by 50% of Ramza's own attack stat. It has a low action delay and a 120% Brave damage potency. And finally, the Plus 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 variant requires 3 stacks of Galvanize. It is a 2-hit non-elemental melee single target Brave attack, healing the party's Brave by 70% of own attack stat, and further lowering its action delay with a 140% Brave damage potency. Next, we're going to take a look at his HP attacks and their plus variants. So the plus version of HP attack requires 1 stack of Shout. It heals Ramza's own Brave by 70% of his attack stat before he deals a single target HP attack. The plus plus variant requires 2 stacks of Shout. It heals his own Brave, this time by 80% of his own attack stat, and then he deals that single target HP attack. And then the plus 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 version of his HP attack, it's pretty cool. So while it does require 3 stacks of Shout, it's going to heal his own Brave by 100% of his own attack stat. And then after the Brave heal, he's actually going to be dealing a 1-hit non-elemental melee single target Brave plus single target HP attack with a 100% Brave damage potency. And it also has an overflow of up to 150% of max Brave, as well as also not increasing the turn count except for friend or summon. So that's quite an upgrade there for his HP attack plus plus plus. Now at 55, his Shout Extend with a rework. Again, it's now stackable, and you get 1 stack for 8 turns. It increases the self-Brave Heal potency to himself to 100% of his own attack, and then after the self-Brave Heal, he's actually going to be dealing a single target HP attack, so now this ability is a lot more turn efficient. It also changes its HP attack to the plus, plus plus, or its plus 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 variants depending on the number of Shout stacks that you have. And then finally, his Galvanize Extend, going to be granting 1 stack of Galvanize to the party for 9 turns. It increases the Brave Heal potency to the party based on now 70% of Ramza's attack. And then it changes its Brave attack to the plus variants, the 3 different ones right there, depending on the amount of Galvanize stacks. And then remember, when you're at 3 stacks of Galvanize, it's going to be increasing the duration of all of the buffs granted by Galvanize by 3 turns, including the Galvanized frame buff. So what can I say about Ramza's rework? it's pretty amazing. One of the best things about it is that HP attack plus not taking up any turn counts, and as we know with Cosmos difficulty, some of them have really strict turn counts. And to top it off, the fact that they now changed his buff to a stacking mechanic is pretty cool. He's a lot more turn efficient, and just the amount of support that he provides to the party, increasing their offensive capabilities. And also remember, he gives them a Brave regen with his Galvanized ability based on 60% of initial Brave is going to be pretty powerful. And I know you're wondering, but wait, I mean, if you're going to be depending on Ramza's HP attack plus, I mean, wouldn't you also be reliant on how high his Brave would be? Well, if you think about it, you could go into his Brave attack plus or whatever variant it's at, and then afterwards, because we know that the HP attack plus doesn't take up a turn count, it's essentially a free turn HP damage dealing move with an overflow mechanic as well, which is pretty cool, right? And then the Brave regens and everything else is just gonna stack onto play, so then generally every time Ramza takes his turn, he's gonna be close to hitting, you know, his max Brave amount before he can actually use that HP attack. So this character is definitely the best one of the three getting all the reworks, and he's also going to be a character that you're going to be able to use during the early Chaos era, because during the early Chaos era, you're going to have an even more tighter turn count requirement, and having somebody that could just take free turns, kind of similar to Vayne, except Ramza doesn't have the no action delay, unfortunately, but still, having a support character that can do that is super powerful, and I highly recommend that with Ramza, you do still have his EX weapon, because he will have access to that Enervate debuff, which is really strong, and also the battery that he provides to the allies with that EX ability. And to top it off, it has a really fast EX charge rate, so then that way Ramza's longevity is going to be prolonged. And also, I forgot to mention, he has some pretty long buff duration. So overall, very good rework, and definitely a recommendation amongst three that we're going to be getting for the Batch 2 level 70 Awakening. Now, I do have some gameplay visual showcase here. We are going to be taking Ramza, Terra, and Yuna. I do have all their EX weapons. Yuna has her EX weapon plussed by 1. I just want to show off what their reworks do, because they do have them here on the JP side of Opera Omnia. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use a Cheer, because that's what we know for Yuna got the buff with a rework. So you can't really tell, but I mean, 8 turn duration on those buffs, that's pretty cool, right? Alright, so now this is Ramza's new Shout. So he grants 1 stack of Shout to himself, he gets those Brave heals, and then he deals an HP attack, which is pretty cool. So he's now more turn efficient. And then this is going to be Meltdown plus. Okay, so it deals Brave damage now, and now we have 5 stacks of Magda. Let's go ahead and use Galvanize. So we get 1 stack of Galvanize up. And I'll be prolonging some of this so you guys kind of get to see what these characters can do. Let's go with Magda Meteor. Let's take a look at that. So this is the one that has AoE Brave hits, but a single target HP attack. And remember, whenever you use the Magda versions of Terra's moves, they do deplete her Magda count by 4, so that's why she kind of always has to like reset herself in a sense. Alright, with Yuna, let's just go with Esuna. Sadly, I wish one of Yuna's abilities with her rework could have at least allowed her to do an HP attack right afterwards. It would have made her better, to be honest. But then again, you have her cursed artifacts to farm for if you want to make her better. Alright, so this is going to be Terra's HP attack plus. So remember, it grants 3 stacks of Magda. With Ramza, let's use his level 65 ability so he gets that attack boost. And then let's just go with HP attack, with Shout, I mean. So we get 2 stacks now. We're getting closer to getting 3 stacks. With Yuna, let's just Cheer again. Again, I'm prolonging this on purpose so you guys get to see a little bit of what they do for the reworks. Alright, we have Enervate up. Let's do Shout again. So now we have 3 stacks. Okay, cool, we got a Cactuar, nice. Okay, so we have 4 stacks, let's actually do this. So I don't have all the passives for her 65 ability, so it only gave us 3 stacks there, but with all the passive, the 70 and also the Bloomstone, you're gonna get 5 stacks instead of 3. Let's just use her, Brave Attack Plus, so we can maximize her stacks to 9. With Yuna, let's just Esuna again. And then afterwards, okay, so see how my turn action count is at 12? We're gonna use HP attack plus plus plus. Boom. And as you can see, it didn't take up a turn count, so that's pretty cool, right? Okay, with Yuna, ooh, we get to see Valifor. Do you guys want to see Valifor? Yeah, let's see Valifor, why not? Very cool. Alright guys, well, that's my little gameplay showcase. Just kind of showing off to you guys what the reworks do for these 3 characters. Again, hopefully you guys are excited for this. I know it's going to be coming out very, very soon to global, and it's really cool that we're entering this level 70 era on the global side of the game. Definitely makes the game a lot more interesting, a lot more enjoyable, and great to see our characters getting stronger and stronger, especially those that came out a little bit towards the beginning of when DFFOO first came out. This is 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for the next video, and mahalo everyone.